Hey, welcome to Crowdscriber, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about transcribing a chunk. So you may have gotten a link through an email just like this, or maybe seen a link posted in social media somewhere or in a forum. So all you have to do, this is a generic link for everyone, but if you click it, it'll open up a page where you can now get your own chunk. So enter in your email and hit continue. Just before you do that, make sure this is the language that you can actually transcribe in. And each chunk will be about 2 minutes, and you have 12 hours to complete a 2-minute chunk. So we'll hit continue, and shortly your email should arrive. So this is what your email will look like, and in there will be the content title, whether it's a podcast or a YouTube video, the language, again, that we're looking to get a transcription or translation into. This is your own personal link to your own chunk. And here's some comments from the content creator or the person who's publishing this that will help you in your transcription. So in here, they'll put things like names of cities, how to spell them basically, or names of any people, because we don't all know how to spell certain names, or any kind of colloquialisms like newfies, which is a very Canadian saying that you may not know how to spell. Also acronyms for anything, basically anything that might be hard to hear or differentiate or know how to spell. And they might also put in here, say you're doing a podcast, or they're doing a podcast and there's two different speakers. So they'll put in the names of the speakers, which comes in very handy. So all you need to do is click on that link and it'll open the Crowdscriber subtitle editor. So when you open it first, if you see this box, this means auto captions are available. They're not available for every video or podcast, but if they are, you'll see this come up. So now you can choose the auto captions or say no, and then from there on you'll be starting from scratch. There'll be no subtitles like you'll see on the left here, it'll be clear. But by choosing auto captions, you'll be able to use those as a head start. Now what happens with auto captions often is that sometimes, depending on the speaker, the auto captions will not understand completely what they're saying and will have different words than what's actually said. So it's your job to go in and correct those. And you'll have to be adding a lot of punctuation probably and capitalization. So that's the main job, but most of the words will be there. So we're going to use auto captions for this tutorial. So just click OK. And now you can see the auto captions have come into the timeline. Before you start transcribing, there's two things you should do. First, check the comments. So this blue bubble up here is the comments section. So if you click on it, it'll open up and you'll see the same thing we saw in the email. So you can refer back to it when you need to see of the spelling of certain words or whatever else the publisher has put in there. The second thing you need to do is set your playback control. So that's under the gear icon. And you have the option between continuous playback, which means it doesn't pause, and interrupted playback, where it pauses automatically at a set interval. So to change this interval here, you have to choose interrupted playback, and you can adjust with the arrows the playback interval. And same goes for the rewind controls. Is you can click and change the rewind seconds that it goes back. And don't forget to save when you're done making any changes. And if you need to toggle between interrupted playback and continuous playback, this is the icon here. Just click on it and it'll highlight, and so now it's on continuous. And to go back to interrupted, click on it and now you're into interrupted. To learn more about the layout and settings in Crowdscriber, we have a whole post on that you might want to check out. So now we're going to talk about this timeline area and what is all here. So you can see the subtitles have already come in. This is because of auto captions. If you haven't chosen it, it'll be blank. And you can adjust the timeline by grabbing and dragging with your mouse here. You can also select one of these. As you can see, the subtitles are here. And by clicking on it, it'll go to that exact location, the beginning of that subtitle. Or you can click here in the play timeline, just like an audio or video player would normally. Just click on that and it'll take you to that part of the audio or video. You can also use your mouse to scroll. If you scroll up and down with the mouse wheel, it'll go left and right. This here is adjust your playback rate. So you can actually set it to half speed or 3/4 speed, or even faster if you wanted to. So that's a great way, especially if you're starting from scratch without any auto captions, to slow down the playback so that you can listen and type at a rate that suits you. So if you want to delete a subtitle or add a subtitle, so we'll start with delete. So say we want to delete this subtitle here. You just have to hover on it. You'll see the X, and that's to delete the subtitle. Click it, and away it goes. And so now if I wanted to add a subtitle in this space, where the red playhead is, just click into the subtitling editing area, put in your subtitle, and hit enter. And there you go. There's the subtitle. Now if you want to adjust the timing of it, just grab these blue handles and grab and drag them with your mouse, and you can adjust the timing. So now we're going to talk about the hotkeys in Crowdscriber, and they're really great. They make subtitling so much faster and easier. So if you want to see what they are, you click under this light bulb here, and that has the list of the 7 hotkeys that are available for you to use, and we're going to go over them now. So the first one is play and pause, and that's with the tab key. So anytime you want to play the video or pause the video, that's all you have to do. So just play.
Like a beanie, which I hate that word. So dumb. Just say toque.
So now you can see it auto paused after the time we had set here, and that's how that works. So it automatically pauses. So in order to play again, just hit the tab button.
A Mickey.
And press tab again if you want to pause it. So the next hotkey is rewind. And you can do that with Shift plus tab. So it'll go back the amount of seconds you've had put in under the gear here. So in this case, 4 seconds. That's how much it'll go back. Now the interesting thing is, if the video or audio is paused and you rewind, it'll go back the 4 seconds and stay paused. If the video or audio is playing when you hit rewind, it'll go back 4 seconds and continue to play once it's gone back. So if you want to edit the current subtitle, there's 2 ways you can edit a subtitle. So if you're on your mouse, you can double click the subtitle and it'll put it in the subtitle editor area. If you want to save that now, just enter and it saves. So you can see it changes colors from blue to gray once it's being edited, so that way you know which subtitle is being edited. The other way is wherever this red playhead is, if you click on the enter current subtitle hotkey, which is Control, Alt, and up arrow, it'll throw whichever subtitle is on down here below. So if we go Control, Alt, up arrow, and there you go, it throws it in. And again, enter to save it. So my 2 favorite features are split and merge. Super handy. So imagine these 2 subtitles are touching here. As soon as you see them touch, you can tell that you get this little icon, and that's the merge icon. So it combines the subtitles. So put those 2 subtitles together. Now if I want to split them because it's too long, so imagine I had one big long subtitle here, and that's way too much. So I want to split it, say right about here. Just hover over the word. When it highlights yellow, you'll see the scissors over top. Click on the scissors. There you go. Now you have 2 subtitles. Now there is another way to split a subtitle, and that is when it's in the subtitle editing area. So we're going to get this subtitle in there and say we want to split it here where the well is. So what we all have to do is, this hotkey for that is Control, Alt, and S. So wherever your cursor is, Control, Alt, S, and it splits that subtitle in 2. Now something else you might want to do when you're editing a subtitle is you could shift the text left and shift the text right. So let's say, again, this subtitle, we want, say, this first part to be in this subtitle. So if we were editing it and we were typing away and we're like, that's too much. So wherever the cursor is, all you have to do then is Control, Alt, and left arrow. So if I put the cursor here, anything to the left of this will go into the adjacent subtitle. So I'm going to Control, Alt, left arrow, and you can now see that that part now went into that subtitle. Now if I want to go the other way, it's Control, Alt, and right arrow. So again, wherever your cursor is, anything to the right will go into the adjacent subtitle. So Control, Alt, right arrow, and there you go. There's the text now shifted over to the right. And don't forget to save your subtitle that you see is gray here after you've done it. So the last hotkey is very useful when you're reviewing your subtitles. So say you've done all the subtitles, you've entered them all, corrected them all, however you like. And now you're listening back, so it might be handy to use that continuous play so it doesn't pause every 5 seconds. So you'd be switching to continuous play and using your tab key to play. And if you wanted, now imagine that this subtitle over here should be where the playhead is. In order to get it back, you could grab and drag it with the mouse all the way back, but sometimes that's not convenient. So we have a hotkey for that, and that is adjust to current time using Control and left bracket. So as you see here, here's my red playhead, control and left bracket, and it brings that subtitle all the way back to that point. So that's really handy and a fast way to adjust the timeline as you're going through. So because you're transcribing a 2-minute chunk of a bigger audio or video, other people will have the chunks on either end of it. So sometimes in this gray area, you'll get confused because you'll see that there's still words there or something being said, but you can't actually edit in there. And that's okay. You just do as much as you can up to that point, and the person who has the chunk after that will do the beginning of that point, and then it gets all put together in the end. So as you can see, if I press play,
Give her a rip. A kerfuffle.
so you can see that a kerfuffle was in there. This was put in there, and then it gets all stitched together in the end. So don't worry about if you can't enter anything in this gray area. Do what you can up to that point, and that's good. So if you've gone through and reviewed everything and you're happy with how it's all done, the timings are all there, you've got all the capitalization and punctuation done, now you can submit your chunk. So all you do is come over here, click Submit Chunk, and in here you'll see the comment area. Now you don't have to put anything in here, but what this is good for is if there was anything that you didn't know how to spell, say, or you couldn't understand, it's good to put a note in here for the person who, the publisher or the content creator, that they know that they have to go in and fix that. So if you couldn't quite make out a name, or it was a name that you didn't know how to spell, I would put in there, giving them a timeline would be great. So between 138 and 142, this word, couldn't quite understand it, something like that. That will really help them polish this transcription. But if you've got nothing, you're good to go. Just hit submit. And then you'll see this. You can get another chunk if another chunk's available. So some videos could be longer and have more chunks available and need to be transcribed. So if you want another one, click ahead and go take it. If not, you can say no thanks. And then, of course, rate your experience. That'd be great for us to know how it was. And then write anything you'd like to add. If you have any suggestions, we just want to make the app better. So your suggestions and feedback really help us. And that's it. It's that simple. Thanks for helping transcribe and make the online world more accessible for everyone.